Tulasi Sharma of
Yeah.
Lutheran World Federation. You're here on site as an advance guard for the Lutheran World Federation, one of the ACT Alliance members that are responding to the situation here in northern Iraq, and particularly here in Dohuk and the vicinity. Could you tell us a little bit about where you're at in terms of your assessment of the situation, what the needs are that you're identifying as priority needs for LWF and other ACT Alliance members, and what you envisage in terms of next steps in the ecumenical response?
We arrived to the ground on 20th of this month, of August. Although in the month of July, our colleague from Geneva, he came and he did some assessment and prepared one preliminary appeal. Since then, there have been a lot of changes in the movement. Like people by the time who were displaced from Mosul were still living in Nineveh plain somewhere. But the beginning of August, the people who were living in Nineveh plains have also moved to Dohuk governorate. That is one change. And Sinjar, people of Sinjar, they also moved, which was not affected before during our act appeal preparation, preliminary appeal preparation. But after that, those people have also moved to this governorate. So now the population has shot up to a level of 630 or close to that one, given by the government last week.
630,000.
630,000, yeah. People are living like 100, approximately, I can't give you exact figure, but approximately 130 schools are used by the IDPs for their accommodation. There are many community centers, there are many churches, mosques, they are living there. And basically the number, if you look at the number, the largest number is Christians, and the second largest is Yazidis, according to the information that I have received. And there are also some other Muslims, some Sunni and some CE they call it as well, but not in a bigger number. They are in small minor numbers who do not accept this IS idea, and then they did not want to be part of the IS and they left the place. So out of this population now, they are living in 14 well-established camps. I cannot say well-established, but 14 camps that has been established by UNHCR. Around 130 schools, people living there, some community centers, some of these blocks built by the private sector, and they are not completed, so those people came and started living there. There are another category, like some people, individuals, they have also opened their own space for the IDPs, and they are also taking care, providing food, water, and other some kind of NFIs. So they are also doing it. So the efforts have been made from the private sector, efforts have been made by the government, UN system, and also the international NGOs and other civil societies. So it's not only a particular area is involved in response. If you look at the priority needs as of now, I still think that priority needs should be food, which is, although this has been provided by WFP, but there are still people, like they are not giving food for the infants, they are not giving food for the elderly people, and they are cooked and provided the hot meals in a centrally located kitchen, so you cannot make your own food of your own choice. So there has been a lot of problem with the food as well, although they say that the food of the minimum standard, minimum kilocalorie per day per person has been provided. So there is a problem. And NFIs, in terms of NFIs, many people still lack NFIs. Those who left and who came to Kurdish region, they did not come with, many of them did not come with anything. Like I just met one lady yesterday, she was living I was living in the same hotel, and she said that she got a phone call. She was working in Mosul, like half an hour drive away from the Mosul central city. She got a phone call and they said that, oh, this is going to happen. And then she just left with her family. She did not bring anything. And I think she can cover some of the costs, and she's living there. Some 20 families are living in the hotel where I have been. and I'm sure there are also other hotels where people are living. That one is for those who can afford and live in the hotel. So there are different categories of people. Some categories of people are also living in the open park. Some of them are living under the bridge. So it is very difficult to establish how many people are living where and who is given what kind of assistance. That has been still not very well recorded. Although government has given, okay, these are the areas you provide assistance, these are the areas we have made fully, with full capacity, they are giving this. But if you go to another coordination meeting, like cluster meeting organized by UNHCR, and you get different kind of information. So it has been a nightmare for us to establish who is given what and when. All those NFIs, we also need to replenish them with time. So what NFI is given, when was it given, these kind of things are, UNHCR is trying their best to establish, but has not been exhaustive in doing this thing. Although they have not developed where is the gap, they have developed who has provided where. It doesn't mean that they have developed the gap. But when I went to ask them, can you tell us what is the gap? They said, we cannot tell you the gap, we can tell you where we have provided what. So that is the situation. So we have been struggling to know what are the gaps, but until now, when we are toward the end of finalizing the act appeal, we think priority need is NFI. Now we are approaching non-food items, and we are approaching winter here, and I have understood that the winter here goes sometime below 0 degrees centigrade, and they need warm clothes, and they also need some heating system, especially for the infants and elderly, those kind of things. We are also looking into the possibility. But what we have already started is distributing the individual clothes, which has not been distributed by any single agency. Until now, they are not getting any individual clothes by any agency. So we will be giving the clothes, kitchen sets. After the kitchen set, we believe that people can go to the individual kitchen to cook and eat, maybe with their own taste, with their own time interval. Then we are also considering the water supply. I contacted the government department for the water supply, and they said that the water system they are pumping, their distributing is for the host community. Like for example, in X area, you have certain amount of population. So develop the system, and in the particular area, now there are a huge number of IDPs. So same system is providing the water for others. So there is a high chance of depleting the resources. So we are also thinking of making extra boreholes or providing some equipment that government can continue pumping the water and distribution. That is the second needy area, non-food item, water, and we are also looking into the areas of food. Like this well-established camp, UNHCR, WFP, they have record, and they are giving the food as per their global standards. But some of people living parks, on the street, under the bridge, they have not really been accounted for. So they need extra kilocalorie of food. They are managing with what they have now, or with what some people have given as a kind of charity. So we are trying to see where those areas are and how we can come up with a minimum kilocalorie of food and provide to them. We are also looking into this possibility. So these are our priority areas, and we will finalize our proposal quite soon, maybe next week, and we'll start implementation. At the same time, CAPNI, who is our partner at the ground level, they have been distributing food packages, NFI packages, non-food item packages, and even they have started individual clothes now. After we came, we identified some priority area, and they have started distribution. But for us, we still have to establish our organization, although it will not be LWF organization, but there are certain procedures to be met, and we are working on it.
Thanks. And of course, it's early days yet, and we're still in the immediate emergency response. But from what we've heard and seen, particularly from Yazidi community members, it's very evident that there will be a heavy need for psychosocial elements as well in the response.
I just missed to explain to you, one of our components, one of our sectors is psychosocial. We have GIAN, I don't know whether I correctly pronounce it. We have our partner,
GIAN Foundation.
GIAN Foundation. They were doing the psychosocial support to the refugee camps for Syrians. They are doing it, and in one of our areas of intervention through GN Foundation is to support traumatized people through the psychosocial support. We're also planning to do it under this act of appeal.
From what we've seen also, I think we've been very impressed, very touched, very moved by the extent to which local churches and local partners, even members of the general community, are responding and providing refuge and support. But this is also, of course, extrapolated to the Kurdistan regional authorities as well. Do you have any comment about the nature of the response by the government, the facilitation and the coordination that the Kurdistan government has been able to offer in this situation?
You know, to be honest, I have worked in many countries with this kind of setup. The strongest government I ever saw is the Kurdistan government. They have a very strong coordination center for, they call it government operation, emergency operation cell. And when I went to see them, the first day after my arrival, first thing I did is I went to visit them. And they were very categorical to say, this is the area, you don't have to do a lot of assessment, just go and buy these things and I will tell you where you go and distribute. Then I visited their water department to see what kind of water system they were developed. They are also quite thorough. They could tell me exactly what they need and where they need. So it looks to me that government has been very strong and capable in supporting this Kurdish for the IDPs living in Kurdistan. However, in most of the cases it happens, we can see some kind of gaps between the international communities and the government.
Speaking of which, I know that OCHA, the UN Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, is just in a process of setting up here and I think also in Erbil. Do you have any comments about the current status of UN coordination?
Well, I was expecting, especially OCHA, to give us the better information, what they call, I think 3W, they call it, where, who, and what. I think they call it 3W. 3W metrics they produce and share. If you look at the 3W metrics, you will exactly know where the gaps are. I was also expecting, but until now, that has not been developed. If that one is developed, we will also find our work more effective and efficient. But yeah, definitely OCHA is a little bit not coming to a path that I was expecting, but I hope they will do it now. I met a lady from OCHA, and she came to visit us, and I could see that she is really doing hard to establish this kind of coordination, proper coordination mechanism.
Now you're an experienced humanitarian professional and you've been working in many crisis situations dealing with human need. But do you have any special remarks about the particular characteristics of the stories, the experiences, the needs that you're encountering here?
Well, I do not have that kind of a special, but what I have realized is that people who moved are at the stage of uncertainty. Some people are saying that if our place of origin are known to be safe, we will go. That's what they are saying. But others, if I gather if I conclude the attitude of the people or understanding of the people is that they really fear to go back, especially the Christian community. They fear to go back. They think that we are the minority and even today they will find our area safe, but tomorrow what happens we don't know. So this kind of stage of uncertainty I have found here. And even difficulty for us is that how do you strategize, how do you plan for, you develop everything for, let's say, for 1 year or 2 years or whatever to support, they might go back. At the same time, you just develop something, some proposal, some program, some strategy, for a shorter period, they might stay here for a longer period. So there is a state of uncertainty in this operation. That's what I have realized. Like in other natural disasters, like I was also involved in the Philippines, you know what you are supposed to do, and people are there. But here, you have no idea how long these people will be here and what are they going to do. So that is the difficulty for us in this humanitarian crisis.
Indeed. Tulasi, is there any particular message you would like us to convey back to the ACT Alliance family, especially to the World Council of Churches, to the churches around the world, and indeed the wider international community, based upon what you've seen, heard and done here so far?
These people, they need some kind of solidarity. Not only that you provide financial resources to buy the minimum basic needs, they also want to see that they are supported and there is a solidarity, especially this Christian community, by the ACT members or other churches in the world. So they want to see some kind of solidarity. They want to see some kind of support, not necessarily the resources or food, non-food, not necessarily these things. They want to see some kind of solidarity and some kind of accompaniment.